Hello everyone, today is the 9th of September, Monday. Now it's 9:30 in the morning, Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. I will try to make second update also today, which will be published later on in between 7 and 10 o'clock in the evening Moscow time. And in the second update, of course, I will share all the additional reports of the media about some major developments worldwide. That's been said. Let's talk about news now. Although, if I may, let me also notice that my channel on YouTube is not monetized, but it is monetized on Rumble. And if it's convenient for you, please watch or listen to my update on Rumble channel of mine. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Link is on this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. And leave some commentary, by the way, on YouTube, on Rumble. It will be helpful. Likes and comments always are helpful, or on any platform, really. That's been said. It is time for news for sure, and I will skip bottom up because there was no reports about some major developments or crucial changes, and I will start with media reporting straight away. And first of all, RIA Novosti's report with the Defense Ministry's confirmation that Novogrodovka settlement on Pokrovsk sector of the front line is liberated and is under full Russian control. And as yesterday, some members of our community may say, Levan, how liberation of quite a big settlement is not a crucial development. And the well, point is that this settlement is under Russian control for quite a while now, at least a week. And the Russian Defense Ministry, being a conservative institution, only now acknowledges progress of the Russian forces in this direction. This is Novogrodovka, and as you can see, it is a relatively larger town on southern flank of Pokrovsk, on central part even of Pokrovsk sector. As news agency is also reporting updated information from Defense Ministry of the Russian Federation about losses of the Kiev regime and its western backers in the Kursk salient since the beginning of invasion. And the latest information is that Kiev regime already lost in Kursk salient area more than 11,000 military personnel, to be more precise, 11,220 according to Defense Ministry. Also 87 tanks, 42 infantry fighting vehicles, 74 armored personnel carriers, 624 different type of armored vehicles. Usually it's wheeled armored cars like Max Pro that can be used as a carriers, personal carriers, and also as trucks, transports. Russian troops also destroy in Kursk salient area 361 motor cars, 84 field artillery systems, 24 multi-launch rocket systems, including 7 M142 HIMARS multi-launch rocket systems and 5 M270 multi-launch rocket systems. They are a bit similar, by the way. Both these systems are produced by US, although, as if I'm not mistaken, M142 HIMARS is based on a truck wheeled chassis, and their M270 is built on trucks. But yet again, I'm no military expert and I might be mistaken, but in any case, both these multi-launch rocket systems are US produced. Also, Russian armed forces destroyed 21 stations of the radio electronic warfare and 7 counter-battery radars, also 2 radars of their air defense systems, 8 engineering vehicles, including demining vehicles and so on, a number of other different type of military vehicles. Significant losses on part of Kiev regime undoubtedly, and after learning about these numbers, I really wonder how anybody can doubt that this invasion of the Kursk region was a fatal mistake of the Kiev regime and Western backers of the Kiev regime, because well, more than 11,000 military personnel have been neutralized of the Kiev regime, which is at least 3-4 brigades, full-blooded brigades in terms of Ukraine, by the way. And when we are talking about Kiev regime, usually brigades are, due to lack of manpower, usually brigades are like 3,000 military personnel, rarely more than that, although usually ordinary brigades worldwide counts for 4,000 to 5,000 military personnel, at least in the peace times. So significant losses on part of Kiev regime, undoubtedly. And one should also keep in mind that we are talking about strategical reserves of the Kiev regime. Vzglyad newspaper is also reporting that according to Security Council of the Belarus, Kiev regime is keeping about 14,000 military personnel on the borders with Belarus. And for a reason, obviously, Belarus is also concentrating its military personnel on the borderline. Situation is tense between Minsk and Kiev, and due to latest incidents when Kiev regime was crossing Belarusian airspace with its drones, and a number of them were shut down, no one should be surprised if sometime in future, relatively close future, Minsk will make decision to conduct some special operations to neutralize threats to Belarus that is generated by Kiev regime, at least on the borderline areas. Also, RT is reporting that, well, according to Western propaganda outlets that are reporting about it with some sort of excitement, as if we are talking about some sort of game changer or some. Ukraine has begun flying drones that drop thermite, molten metal, basically, on Russian forces' positions at the front. This was reported by CNN. Also, with celebratory tone, as if something extraordinary is happening. After all, Russian armed forces were using drones with flamethrower systems for quite a while now, right? And there is videos also about that. It looks effective. Drones are flying and there are some fire is dropping from these drones, but how effective these drones are, that's a big question, really. But well, it is acknowledged by Russian media also that Kiev regime, probably with assistance of the NATO, start using these drones that have some tanks on it with the thermite, and it's you know, when it's on fire, it's basically melting metal. That is dropped. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz tells Ukrainian refugees to start work, which is interesting. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has urged Ukrainian refugees in the country to more actively seek employment. He also called on officials to cut red tape and on the employees to employers to take more Ukrainian nationals for work. The Berlin government has been criticized over special treatment given to Ukrainian refugees, allowing them, unlike asylum seekers from their other countries, to receive their Bürgergeld or citizens allowance. The social benefit is typically reserved for the low-income Germans or EU nationals living in their country. And well, reports are, by the way, that many refugees from Ukraine are taking this allowance, and if working, then not always legally. So they are increasing their income basically without paying any taxes and stuff. And seems like It is becoming a burden for the German economy to finance hundreds of thousands of refugees on a regular basis. And also one should keep in mind that this increased pressure on refugees, Ukrainian refugees in Ukraine, possibly are connected also with attempt of the Western ruling class to send back as many Ukrainian refugees as possible, especially military-age men, so that they can be forcefully mobilized and sacrificed basically for geopolitical agenda of the Kiev regime. So it's a financial issue, obviously, for Germany, and also it is connected with this policy that is being adopted by Western ruling class. They're puppets in governments of different countries in collective West to basically gradually push back on Ukrainian refugees and force them to go back to Ukraine to get sacrificed. RT is reporting that world's biggest and most powerful terrorist organizations, and this is my interpretation, by the way, CIA and MI6, not interpretation, I am saying that this is a terrorist organizations, CIA and MI6. These are terrorist organizations, and all members of CIA and MI6 are terrorists and mass murderers. It's a factual. It's just factual. These criminals kill more people than that are probably all the other terrorist organizations combined in last decades, right? In last decades only. So CIA and MI6, US and British so-called secret services chiefs warn of the threats of the world order. Wow. The global order is under threat from the number of state actors, their heads of their US and British foreign intelligence agencies, the CIA and MI6, claimed in a joint op-ed published by Financial Times on Sunday. In the piece, Bill Burns and Richard Moore pledged that Washington and London would work in lockstep to retain the status quo in a world where technology has considerably accelerated geopolitical trends. Following the outbreak of the Ukraine conflict in February 2022 and the sharp downturn in ties with the West, senior Russian officials, including President Vladimir Putin, have repeatedly proclaimed the end of US hegemony and the global shift to multipolarity. In the op-ed, Burns and Moore observed that there is no question that the international world order, the balanced system that has led to relative peace and stability and delivered rising living standards, opportunities, and prosperity is under threat in a way we have not seen since the Cold War. Well, this should be clarified here. Burns and Moore probably are talking about stability, wealth, and a good life for a Western ruling class, first of all, because they are getting richer and richer. But when it comes to rest of the world, the rest of the humanity, what stability, what prosperity, what these idiots are talking about, really. Even in collective West countries, by the way, living standards are crushed, right? Ask any 40, 50, 60-year-old citizen of US or any European state, really, Western European state. Is living standards are increasing, improving, or exactly opposite is happening in last several decades? And they will tell you, majority at least, I believe, will tell you that situation is getting worse and middle class is shrinking. So what these criminals and terrorists, Burns and Moore, are talking about? They're talking about privileges and successes that the Western ruling class had. And they are threatened now, right? Because of this emerging multipolar world. And that's this op-ed is all about, really. They don't care about ordinary citizens, man. Otherwise, in US, millions of people are receiving food stamps, for God's sake. Can you imagine that? Millions of people are receiving food stamps in US. And while this is happening, Washington is already spent like over 200 billion to prolong this proxy war against Russia. I mean, just where is this? Where is the interests of the ordinary U.S. citizens here? That is none, right? And this another criminal U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham says it openly, isn't it? That this one of the at least the main goals for this proxy war against Russia is for the Western ruling class to establish control over the natural resources of Ukraine. So no one should buy this BS from these terrorist organizations, by the way, that world order that give people prosperity is under threat. Western domination didn't give humanity anything good, really. Let's be clear on that. Also, there is a quote here. Today we cooperate in a contested international system where our two countries face an unprecedented array of threats. Their piece singles out, this op-ed singles out assertive Russia in the context of the Ukraine conflict, which both CIA and MI6 saw coming. They provoked it, so of course they saw it. The spy agency's chiefs noted that their hostilities have demonstrated the increased role of technology in modern warfare, in particular unmanned systems and their satellite recognitions. In addition, Burns and Moore accused Moscow of waging a reckless campaign of sabotage across Europe, as well as spreading lies and disinformation designed to drive wedges between us. I mean, okay. Truth, when truth is becoming your enemy, British and US elites, you should know that you are in a dark place. That's all. Moscow don't really need to spread any lies. All Moscow needs is to share the truth to the world. That's how bad situation for the global for the globalists, for their Western ruling class is. It's just simple. But when it comes to technology, yes, technology does play more increased role, obviously, in a modern battlefield, and obviously, special military operation demonstrated how rapidly things are changing in this regards, and drones obviously are game changers. Not just drones, but well, drones never before played this crucial role on the battlefield as they do now. TASS news agency is also reporting that. But by the way, when to go back to this op-ed from these terrorist organizations, CIA and MI6, it is interesting to see that Western ruling class is not just acknowledging that their dominance over the world, their so-called rules-based order is crumbling, but they're acknowledging, by doing so, they are also acknowledging increased influence and popularity of the new world order, which is a multipolar world, which is going to be, let's hope, much more just and useful for the humanity. TASS news agency is also reporting that President of Russian Federation in upcoming days will participate in military exercises that will take place here in Russia, and also Russian president will have a meeting with the Security Council and the cabinet, and he will do some meetings in regards to BRICS. As you know, this autumn there will be BRICS summit in Kazan, and of course Russian leadership is actively communicating now with the different governments worldwide. First of all, of course, BRICS member states, and also countries, dozens of countries that want to join the BRICS. And at least few dozen leaders will be invited and already are, I guess, invited to participate in BRICS summit. And I guess majority will accept this invitation and will participate in this summit. That's going to be yet another blow to the Western ruling class, isn't it? Because they love to talk about, and I mean, Western ruling class, they're puppets in the governments of the collective West and also Western so-called media. Loves to talk about how isolated Russia is and how destroyed and demolished. But in reality, the situation is completely different. If any side is isolated, it's a collective West, right, from the rest of the world. And Kazan BRICS summit. And Kazan is, of course, capital of Russia's Tatarstan Autonomous Republic. Wonderful city, by the way. This big summit, of course, gonna demonstrate once again who is there on top of the game here, right? So it's gonna be very interesting and important, obviously. And dear friends, before I continue, let me notice, if I may, that this small media project of mine with several channels on YouTube, Rumble, Telegram, is completely subscriber funded there, and I will be immensely grateful if you will also consider to support my work and this project. You can do it, of course, if you like my work, if you think my channels deserve to exist on this field of news and political commentary. You can support through donations, through PayPal or Boosty, or you can subscribe to my Patreon page and Boosty page. I just remind you that monthly subscription on Patreon starts from $5 and on Boosty from about $6. And I have quite often bonus videos, some updates, not just about news and politics, but about life in Russia also. And I have plans to do some more content. So it is interesting, and it's going to be even more interesting, by the way, those pages. So yes, if you can, please consider to support. All the links are on this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. I truly hope our community on Patreon will reach 200 before end of this year at least, so that I don't have to worry about survivability of the project this much at least. And I hope our community will increase on Boosty also, because we only on Boosty our community is only 11 members right now. On Patreon 160, because Patreon is much more developed. I start developing Patreon way earlier than Boosty, because before, as many of you know, I had a Buy Me a Coffee page until I was cancelled there, and only after that I start developing a Boosty platform, which is very convenient, by the way. And also crypto. If you are good with crypto, you can support with crypto currencies, wallet, and all the links, by the way, are under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. Okay, that's been said there. And dear friends, I know it may be annoying a little bit when every single video in the middle of the video I spoke about this project, but this is the only way we can survive independent channels, right? Only with your help, and there are many thanks to all the members of our community who supported and continues to support my work. Really grateful, because obviously without your support I would not be able to still be in this field of news and political commentary. Let's continue now. And Interfax is reporting that Israel conducted the strikes on Syria once again, on the central parts of Syria, and 5 military objects, according to reports, were targeted, and rumors are that one of the facilities were used by Iranian forces to reassemble missiles. No official confirmation on that, but what is known for now is that as a result of these Israeli strikes, at least 4 people were killed and there are 15 people were wounded. Also, by the way, TASS news agency is reporting that Sergei Lavrov, foreign minister of the Russian Federation, arrived in Riyadh, capital of Saudi Arabia. So on September 9, the Russian foreign minister will take part in the ministerial meeting of the Russia Gulf Cooperation Council Strategic Dialogue, which is obviously important. After all, Gulf states are definitely part of emerging multipolar world. They are clearly leaning towards BRICS and multipolarity. United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia are supposed to become members of the BRICS. They applied, they've been received, but this process has been stalled somewhat of integration of these kingdoms into BRICS, I guess due to influence of the Western ruling class. But anyways, process of increased cooperation between the Middle East and BRICS is unstoppable. And obviously Middle East is a part of emerging multipolar world, crucial, important part as every other region is. And no matter how hard the Western ruling class is gonna try, they're not gonna derail cooperation between Middle Eastern states and the BRICS. Or Russia, one of the members of the BRICS, obviously, founders of the BRICS. RT is reporting that US election guru predicts Kamala Harris's victory during the upcoming presidential elections. So historian Alan Lichtman, widely acclaimed as Nostradamus of the US presidential elections, has predicted that Democratic nominee Kamala Harris will beat her Republican rival Donald Trump in November. The history professor at American University says his method shines polls altogether and is instead based on a set of 13 true or false questions that supposedly hold the keys to the White House. What is interesting, by the way, Lichtman says that he has currently predicted the outcomes of 9 out of 10 presidential elections since the 1984. The only time he failed was during the contested face-off between George W. Bush and Al Gore back in 2000. The historian insists that election was decided after the US Supreme Court ruled in Bush's favor following weeks of legal wrangling over their disputed ballots. It was some issues with Florida, isn't it, or something, if I remember correctly. But anyways, I don't know what to take from this reporter. Well, 9 correct predictions out of 10 is impressive, to say the least, obviously. But I still struggle to understand why anybody would vote for Kamala Harris, man. I just don't get it. I don't know. Of course, Trump has a number of flaws, by the way. He was already president, and at least in terms of foreign policies, he was not any better than previous presidents. But from what I see, by the way, on the internet, at least in terms of US economy situation was significantly better than it is now, or it was during the Obama era. And as far as I know, US audience, US citizens, majority of US society is fairly focused on internal issues. They don't really care that much about foreign policies. And I'm talking about majority, not everybody, obviously. which is understandable. It's a somewhat similar situation in every country, I guess. You first focused on internal main topics, and only after that about some foreign stuff, obviously. But still, by the way, I mean, you can be as critical as you want towards Trump and his administration, but to support Kamala Harris, who is a vice president right now and have not done anything really to improve situation in US, it's exactly the opposite, then I just don't get it. Sorry, but I don't understand. Why would anybody vote for Kamala, man? She is a vice president, second after president, right? And they did nothing for US. They were destroying US from within, and people are going to vote for these guys once again. Wow, that's whole new level of suicidal endeavor, by the way, that seems like some parts of US citizens are engulfed with. I mean, this is crazy. This is simply crazy, though. I don't know, but yet again, I mean, these predictions from this professor or historian is a big deal, isn't it? I mean, 9 correct predictions out of 10. Well, that's cool, impressive. Anyways, let's see. By the way, I mean, there will be so many predictions and so many polls and this and that, isn't it? But eventually, we will see in November what is going to happen, and what is most important behind the both candidates. By the way, behind the both groups, both camps are same groups of interests, right? So, what difference does it makes? Which one is I mean, at least in true terms, in real practical terms, which one is a president? I don't know. Anyways, let's continue. If I was a citizen of US, I will lean more towards a party that will at least you know, in its policies will mention protection of the traditional values, family values, universal human values, really. And in case of US, this is a Republican party, right? Because it seems like Democrats don't really care about any of it. So, but anyways, RT is reporting that Putin to discuss Ukraine peace with PM Modi's national security advisor, according to media. So, Russian President Vladimir Putin will discuss New Delhi's efforts to settle the conflict between Moscow and Kiev with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's national security advisor Ajit Doval. Sources have told India Today Doval is scheduled to visit the Russian capital on Tuesday, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So there will be 2-day trip, the broadcaster said in an article on Sunday. While in Moscow, Doval will meet Russian President Vladimir Putin and discuss peace efforts aimed at resolving the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Well, it is appreciated that India is trying to play as positive role as possible, and also it is appreciated that despite all the Western pressure, by the way, India's foreign ministry, India's government is managing to managing to maintain close strategical relationship with the Russian Federation, as it should be, by the way. Just take a look at the map and you will realize straight away that Russia and India need to be strategical partners, no matter what is going on in this world. But India and Russia, for objective reasons, need to be strategical partners. It's just objective reality that cannot be ignored, and I believe both capitals understand those perfectly well, and that's why this is one of the reasons why India and Russia are on great terms when it comes to bilateral relations, and this is also a historical trend, by the way. Moscow and New Delhi always was friendly towards each other, and our nations are friendly towards each other. It is what it is, man. So I am all for further improvement of the relationships between Russia and India as much as is possible. As much as possible, by the way. So good news. Okay. I don't think, of course, unfortunately, there is enough indicators that conflict in Ukraine will end anytime soon. But this attempt from friendly nations to Russia to, de-escalate is appreciated, obviously. RT is reporting that Maduro's rival leaves Venezuela for Spain. So Venezuelan opposition figure Edmundo Gonzalez, their main rival to President Nicolas Maduro in the recent presidential elections, has left the country for Spain, where he is expected to be granted political asylum. Well, what a surprise, man. These CIA assets, these assets of the Western Secret Services, are trying to do some regime change in Venezuela. They fail, they flee, and they are going, and they are forgotten, basically. And these Western Secret Services then are looking for another potential candidates who can they use to destabilize this country or that country, in this particular case Venezuela, in hope to conduct regime change one way or another and gain access to all the riches of these countries. In case of Venezuela, by the way, of course, we all know that this is the richest country when it comes to discover the oil reserves. In terms of oil reserves, by the way, Venezuela is number one. Not Russia, not Middle Eastern kingdoms, not Saudi Arabia or Iraq or Iran, but it is Venezuela, by the way. So no one should be surprised that the US administration is actively trying to overthrow elected governments there and to put in power their own puppets to gain full access to riches of the Venezuela and then to just rob nation as much as they can. That's what they do worldwide, man, for centuries. Now it's US, before it was United Kingdom mainly, although not just United Kingdom, by the way. France did so many horrible things to African nations, to Asia, to, take a look at the Spain, by the way, what they did. They committed genocide, basically, of indigenous people in Americas, right? Belgium, by the way, I mean, Belgium played horrible role in Africa's history. They committed genocide. Even Dutch kingdom was involved, and I mean, history of the West, by the way, is horrifying. It's really horrifying. But so many crimes being committed, man, unbelievable. One should always keep in mind that when UK went to, when British Empire went to India, by the way, India was a top economy, one of the top economies in the world by GDP. And GDP can be calculated, and it is calculated by experts. And when UK left, India was one of the poorest countries in this world. And you think where all those riches go from India? We all know the answer, isn't it? And after so many decades, India is still struggling, by the way, to recover from that horror that Indian people went through due to this British occupation. Riyadh is reporting that, well, according to sources of the RIA Novosti news agency, US is increasing pressure on Turkish banks due to their cooperation with Russia, with Russian businesses, and this is unending story, by the way. This is unending story. Washington tries to bully just about everybody worldwide for cooperating with Russia, but as many of you probably notice, Washington's influence is decreasing, and less and less businesses worldwide really paying attention to these warnings from Washington and their threats, basically direct threats. Maybe first-tier banks in Turkey will still maintain cautiousness, but second tier, third tier financial institutions will give no damn about Washington's warnings. They will cooperate with whatever they find good for a business, whatever country or businesses, and that's what going to happen in this particular case also. And once BRICS will come up with their alternative financial and banking system, that's gonna be end of story, by the way, for Western financial and banking system and the domination of the Western currencies. It is what it is. And I hope to hear some very serious information about, I hope to hear from Kazan Big Summit information about concrete steps being made to establish this alternative financial and banking system, which is so necessary for the world, by the way, not just for BRICS member states and businesses in the BRICS member states, but for entire world, including collective West, by the way, because there are so many businesses in the West, isn't it, that want to cooperate with Russia, and they are now forced to create some companies, new brands, and maintain their presence on Russian market under new brands, and many of them are failing because it is not easy to establish your place on the market with a new brand, right? Zara, for example, by the way, failed. I believe it was Zara. They created some new brand, and there was some advertising campaign initially, and I guess not strong enough campaign was done or something, and they failed. They failed, by the way. Maybe they still have stores, but people are not going to the stores. And who knows how many millions or maybe billions they lost due to that. So yes, alternative financial and banking system is definitely needed for businesses worldwide, including in the collective West. Because they're not buying, by the way, this nonsense that Russia is enemy of the West. No, Russia is not enemy of anybody, if not provoked, right? It's a Western ruling class that is generating this divide, because that's all they know. I mean, divide and conquer. RT is reporting that Musk set to become world's first trillionaire, according to reports. Okay. Interesting. Tech entrepreneur Elon Musk is on track to become the world's first trillionaire by 2027, according to estimates by the global education company Informa Connect Academy. What a name. The projection published on Friday is based on Musk's average annual wealth growth rate, which stands at 109%, basically almost 110, and the owner of the X is the richest man in the world right now, with a fortune of 237 billion. Musk has co-founded 6 companies, including electric car maker Tesla and the spacecraft manufacturer SpaceX, and many others, by the way. We all know this. And well, according to forecast, Tesla, which has a market capitalization of 669.28 billion, is expected to hit the $1 trillion mark next year. Musk acquired Twitter in 2022, renamed it X. Okay, we all know this. All the other multi-billionaires who are likely to join the trillionaires club in the near future are India's richest man, Gautam Adani, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang, and Indonesian magnate Prajogo Pangestu. All 3 are expected to become trillionaires by 2028. Wow. By 2028, by the way, in just a couple of years' time, these guys will become trillionaires. Okay. What else? French businessman Bernard Arnault, the chairman of the world's largest luxury conglomerate LVMH, is likely to become trillionaire by 2030. And what this says, by the way, to me, these numbers are saying how inflated, basically, how inflated these businesses are of worldwide, these multinational corporations, and also these numbers are indicating how much devaluation has happened to dollar, by the way. To me, this information shows that dollar has lost significantly its weight, because nowadays billions have been thrown away this way, that way, like nothing, like it's peanuts. While some 30, 40, 50 years ago, dollar has a very different strength, right? And yet again, just give it another couple of years, and once BRICS or multipolar world will come up with alternative banking and financial system, alternative reserve currency for this world, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it, man. And dollar will lose, will undergo devaluation even more significantly on unprecedented scale. And Musk may be not just trillionaire, but quintillionaire. But what those quintillions will worth in reality, that's the question. Anyways, let's end this update on this news. That world is going to have first trillionaires by 2028. I mean, okay. Wow, I didn't expect this video to be this longer, 47 minutes. Okay. But hopefully you will find it informative, interesting, and useful. And if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary just about anything, any topic. And if you can, please share information about my channel with your friends in real life or on internet, on any of the platforms that you are actively using. This is the only way we can at least try and influence algorithm. Likes and comments. And if you like my work, if you want to support, you can do it. All the links, by the way, under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now, and most likely I will have a second update today, later on, so see you then. Take care.